itemizing it 1, 2, 3. Then the second column represents our eastening. The third column represents our northening. Then the fourth column represents our elevation. Then the D represents our the last one represents our description, which is PENZD. PENZD. So at times, before you import your point to Civil 3, you have to check the format in which the Excel folder is being saved. It's being sent to you. At times, the surveyor might decide to interchange the eastening, this your eastening, and the northening. Always know that in all your survey data, the northening value is always higher than the eastening. So you have to be conscious of that. A surveyor might decide to change the format for you. It might give you the format in PNEZD. So you have to be conscious of the format in which the survey folder is sent to you. You have to know whether the eastening comes before the northening or the northening comes before the eastening. So you have to be conscious of this format. So if we're going to the software proper, I will show you those formats, the format properly. So let me display how to save, just like I said, how to save this work in CSV. Like this work now is already saved in CSV. Let me now select it. I'll say Control A to select. Let me say I want to put it on a new folder now. I'll say Control A to select the Excel folder, and I'll say Control N, then I'll say Control V. I'll say Control C, I'll copy it, and I'll say Control V, then I'll paste it. So this is like a new Excel workbook that was sent to me by a surveyor. The folder has not yet been saved in CSV. So the next thing I will do now, I will now go to my file, and I'll go to Save As. On my Save As, I will look for where I want to save the document. Let's say I want to save the document on my desktop. I will select my desktop. Then I'll give it a name. Then my Save As type, always be conscious of it, is to be in CSV, comma delimited. In all your road design, if you have become comfortable with Civil CAD or Civil 3D, your all road design, all road data, you always save them in CSV, comma delimited. Or there's one they still call space, formatted text space delimited, but always stick with CSV, comma delimited. That is the format you use in saving your work, the CSV, comma delimited. So then you give it a name. Let's say training day 1. And I'll click Save. I'll say yes. Then there's another thing now. I'll let you guys know about it. There's in this Excel folder, at times a surveyor might give you a folder. If he gives you a folder, you have to check very well. If peradventure the surveyor inputs a header for you showing that this is your northening, this is your point number, your eastening, your northening, your elevation, and your description. If peradventure he input the value and say, let me copy this now. Control C, Control N. If peradventure he inputs like this is your P, this is your E, this is your N, this is your Z, and this is your D. And he put it like that, and they gave the format, and he gave. And he gives you the formula, and there's a header. If you try importing if you try importing that, if you save the work and you try importing the data into your Civil 3D, you show that there's an error. You show that you're seeing this header as a different, as you seeing it as a different entity. So you have to delete the header. If peradventure he inputs the header showing those description, those are the headings. You have to delete it before inputting your work, calling out your work into Civil 3D. So I will go into the software now. The first thing now, I'll follow the model properly. We're on page 1 on the Civil 3D folder. The first thing I will do now, I will go to my 2 space bar. You can see it here, this one. On my 2 space bar, I will go to my points. I will right click. I will say create. I'll go to my points. I will right click. I will say create. Then the next step now, you see import points. Hello? So the first thing there, we see import and export points. So from our home tab, this is our home tab here now. You can see this is the one that is active here, our home tab. From our home tab, we'll select our 2 space, which is the one that is active here. From our 2 space, you can see now I say we should select the active drawing view, which is the one that is active here. Then from that active drawing view, we have to go to our perspective bar, which is, you can see it is the one that is active here now. You can see we have our 2 sports bar, our survey bar, our setting bar, but we have to work with our perspective bar. So on the perspective bar, we'll go to our point group. This is our point group here now. So on the point group, we have to right click and choose and click new. So on that new, you can see now on the new, on the next page now, on the new, as we click new, it brings out a point group dialog box. So on the point group now, it's asking us to give it a name. So we can start to give a point group a name. This is training day 1. The 1 point group. Training the 1 point group. Then after you have given it a name, the next step is to go to editing our default styles. You can see on this our default styles, we have our point style and we have our point label style. So the first one we need to edit is our point style. Permission to record. I'm coming now. Let me grant the permission. Okay. Excuse. Grant permission to record. Let's record. From all of them. Check. It's on ban. Okay.
Do you have permission? People complain.
I'm not recording.
Okay. This one now we get. So if I click again, empty.
Okay. Please excuse. Let's grant the permission. Hold on. Okay. 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 Can you hear me now? So on this our default style now, the first thing we have to set now is at the basic. So we are on the basic now. So on that basic now, there's a drop down arrow attached to this box sign that has a pencil sign attached to it there. So the next thing we click on this drop down arrow and click on edit current selection. So on this edit current selection, you can see now we are on the The first thing there is the first situation there is the information tab. The next one is the marker tab. The next one is the 3D geometry tab. The next is the display tab. And the last is the summary tab. So we're working on the marker tab. So we'll click on the marker tab. So on the marker tab, we'll choose the marker sign to attach to it. Let's say we're giving it, we'll select this. Then the next step, we reduce the text height. Let's say we are using 1. Then we click apply and OK. That's for the point style. Then you repeat the same step for our point label style. You can see now for our point label style. We're on the 3rd page on the manual. So I will click on the drop-down arrow and click on edit current selection, the same step. Then on this one, then the next thing I click now, I will switch to the layout tab here. You can see we have information, we have general, we have layout, we have drag state, and we have summary. So I will switch to the layout tab. So on this layout tab, we have there are 3 things we have to work on here. We have the component name. You can see component name here. The next thing we have to work on is we have point description, point number, and point elevation. Just like on that our survey that is showing us our point number, point elevation, and point description. So we need to reduce the text height too. So the first one I will start with is for my point description. I will click on my text height and put 1, 2. Then I'll go back to the drop-down arrow here, and I'll click on point number. Then I'll put 1, 2. Then the last one, the point elevation, I'll click on this, then I'll put 1, 2. Then when I'm done, I'll click apply and OK. Then I'll click apply and OK. So I don't know what you can try and undo this setting I just did now. If you have this, if you are with the software and you have the manual, you can follow it and repeat these settings I just did now before we start calling in the point. This process and that's great.
Trying to do that. I'm trying to call it.
If you can hear me, just try and repeat the step and let me see those of you that are on track with the step I just did now. Now, if you have a question, you can signify so that I'll move to them ask the question.
Speaking it. First step.
So let me illustrate again. The first step I did, I went to my two space bar and ensure that my prospectus toolbar was active. Then I went to my point group, I right click and click new. I clicked new. Then the next step, I came to this side and gave my point group a name. Then after I gave my point group a name, then I went to my point style, my default styles, and I I click on the drop down arrow, and I click edit current selection, and I gave it a marker sign, and I reduce the text height. Then the next step, I went to my point label style. I did the same thing. I edited this. Then I went to layout, my layout tab, and I changed my point description, the text height. Then I change my point number, the text height. Then I change my point elevation, the text height. Then I click apply and OK, then apply and OK. Privately. I need one.
Chatting with this person.
No, even not what I did now. I got there. Okay, someone on the top. Yes, I want to put the point now. Talking to okay. That's what I'm going to know. So the next page on the manual now is for us to import our point now. You can see it now. Yes. The next step is to import points. The next phase is for us to import our points now. So to import our point, now there are three ways there are three ways you use in importing your point in Civil 3D. So you have to be conversant with anyone, but I would advise you to stick with that with the one on the manual, but I'll still show you the three ways. Okay. So the first way is, you see on this our software on our manual, you can see the first thing there. I don't know if this your menu bar is showing on your screen here. This thing, I have my file, edit, view, insert, general, survey, points, surface, lines and curves, parser, grading, alignment. If yours is not showing, you will come to this side. You see this quick access toolbar I showed you earlier on. If you click on this drop down arrow that is attached to this workspace that is there, you see this place. This is showing me hide menu bar. If I should click on it now, you can see that thing goes off. So to bring it out now, I will come to this side here now and click on show menu bar. So the thing comes out. So I don't know if yours is. Okay. Do I have the menu bar on screen? It indicates by saying yes. Okay. So the next step now on the menu bar. So we look for, you can see we have points here. After file, edit, view, insert, general survey, we have the next thing there is points. You can see points. So we'll click on the points. Then if we click on the point, you can see if we go down, you can see create point, all this. Then we'll go and look for import and slash export point. You can see it on the manual there, it's indicated there. Import and export points. So we'll go to this point and I'll click on import points. We'll select import points. So we click on it. A dialog box pops up showing the import points dialog box. So you can see the import points dialog box. So this is the first method of importing your points. Alternatively, you can still use other methods to call in to get to this import point dialog box. So the next method you can see on this our home tab on our create ground data panel. You can see points here. So I'll click on these points, and the first thing there is point creation tool. So if I should select the point creation tool, the dialog box pops up showing me create point. Then I'll now go and click on the last icon that is there. You see, if I should place my mouse over on it to show me, it's showing me import point. If I click on it now, it takes me to that same dialog box that we saw earlier on. This is the second method. Then the last one is this your point that is on your tool space. Yeah. If I should click on it, select the points, then I right click. Then I choose create. It takes me to that same create points. Then I'll now click on the last dialog box, import points. So any of the methods you seems familiar with, you can use the method to call in your points. So let's also stick with the one that is on the manual so that you'll be conversant with it with the manual. So I'll also go to points. I'll click on import points, then I'll click import points. So you can see now that format I was explaining earlier on. You can see the format, specify 5.5 format. You can see the format. You can see the first one we have here is what? ENZ. So if it's supposed to give you a data that has only the easterning, the northing, and the elevation, so you have to choose this format, ENZ, comma delimited. You can see our X, Y, Z, RGB, comma delimited. If you come to this, you see this one, you can see now the northing now came before the easterning. So now, if it's supposed to give you data that he interchanged the northing before the easterning, you select this format. And this one is space, comma delimited, space delimited. So you can see this one again too now. So you can see the various formats. You can go through them and see them better off. So we also, to call in our folder now, you see this place we have an additional sign. We click on this, click add. We select the add sign there. So if you select add, now the next step is to go and look for where you save that folder you saved on Excel using CSV command limited. The place you save the folder, the survey data. So like mine was saved on my desktop. So I'll click this is mine. I'll select this data here now. I'll select my data. So if peradventure yours didn't come out, you see this file type that is here. You have to come and make CSV active so that you bring out all the whole CSV folder you saved on the file type. if you're using the software for the first time, the CSV may not be active. So you have to come and select the CSV to bring out all the whole CSV folder that are saved on the system. So you look for where you save your CSV folder and you select the folder. It will be the print the manual tomorrow. But you have to print the manual. It will be the print the manual tomorrow. Okay. No problem. No, by tomorrow we will review what we did today. Okay. We'll still review what we did tomorrow too. So the next step now, we'll select the folder. Then we'll click open. You can see mine showing an error sign that the folder didn't come out. It's showing an error sign that there's an error. Do you know why this thing show? I did this thing on purpose. Because if you try import your data, you might have these hitches when you import your data. I did it on purpose so that you learn from the mistake I just did now. The first thing you have to do, ensure that after you are done with your Excel work, ensure that all your Excel folders are all closed. They have to be closed for your folder all your Excel folder. They have to be closed for your folder to appear on the place. Try importing it. So I have to go and close all my Excel workbook. They all have to be closed. Then I'll select this and cancel it. Then I'll go back now and import it. And I click open. You can see now the folder now appears. Let me know if you're lost by indicating on the chart so that we'll know. So you can see now, my folder now has now showing that the Excel folder has now come into the software. If by peradventure your Excel folder is open, to show that error sign that there's something hindering it from coming here, so the Excel folder has to be closed for it to come into the software. So the next step now is for me to specify the file format. For me to specify the file format I'll use, the file format I saved my work my Excel software. So I will go to this down there. We save our work in pen Z. You can see now this is the first one I showing here, ENZ. If you go and look your Excel folder, you see that this format is not reflecting the way it's being saved here. So we'll go down there now. And select the 5 formats in which our work is being saved. So our work is being saved in pen Z. So if I should click on pen Z, delimited, you see that it will reflect the way in which the work is being saved on my Excel folder. So you can see this representing my point number, this representing my hastening, the end, this one not the notting, the point elevation, and the raw description. So you can see it on the Excel, on the manual. You can see it's being stated there. The same thing. So this is representing your point number, the hastening, the notting, the point elevation, and the raw description. So you have to ensure that when importing your data, the right format is being selected, so that the imported data and the format will now match together on the Civil 3D interface. So you have to ensure that the right format is being selected. So the next step now on that manual, you see the next step now, you have to ensure that you add to point group. You can see this side now, you can see on our screen here, this add to point group is not checked. While on the manual is checked. So you have to check the box to ensure that this add to point group is checked. Then when the add to point group is checked, then the next step you come to this side and you have to give your point group a name. If I should come now and click and I forgot to add to point group and give my point group a name, I just click OK. The point won't come out. The point won't come out on the Civil 3D on the workspace, on the work area. The point won't come out on the work area. So you have these two icons that are very important. This and this. You have to ensure that this is checked. Add to point group and ensure you give the point group a name. Because if these two things are not done, you won't see the point on the screen. These two things are very important. They have to be checked. I have to give it a name. Like this one, I would say training day 1 all point group. Day 1 all points group. If you're done, you click OK. You also ensure that this has to be checked and give it a name. Then you click. Then on the advanced, you have to ensure that do elevation adjustment, if possible, must be checked too. Just like as it is illustrated on our manual. So we're on page 5 on the manual now. So the next step now, you click OK. Once you click OK, you can see now the points are not visible. They are very minute, very small on the screen. So the next command now on page 6, we have to do a command in AutoCAD. If you have come to AutoCAD, we call it zoom extend, to bring out your drawing board, to bring it out bolder. So there's a command we call zoom extend, and that zoom extend just is the normal shortcut for it. Is also type your Z on your screen, Z inside your work area, enter, then your E. Just type E, enter. It brings out the point for you on the screen. Who got it? They got it. Permit me to record. Hope we all got the step. Okay. So you can see these are points now on the screen. These are points on the screen. You can see the point is a bit looking clumsy. You can still edit it. Just like what I did there on. It's like mine didn't reflect. You can still edit it and make it a bit smaller. As it's showing like this now. The point is a bit clumsy. So to edit the point now, you just select any of the points. Once you select the point, you see it will take you to point group. It give you an option on the ribbon bar showing you the properties associated with this point that you can use it to edit anything you want to work on this point. So I selected the point. Now the next step I'll go to my point group properties. Then that thing I did earlier on, it didn't reflect here. So I'll just go and repeat that same step I did earlier on. When the first thing I did, I will come to this point, edit current selection. I'll give it a marker sign. Then I'll drop down the text site to say 1. Then I'll click apply and OK. Then I'll go back to my point label style. I'll repeat the same thing I did earlier on, edit current selection. Then I'll go to my layout tab. Then I'll change here to 1, my point in the description, the first one, my point number, the second one, then my point elevation, the last one. Then I'll click apply and OK. Now click apply and OK. You can see now the text height and everything are now dropping down. So let's practice what I just did now and see. I'll see whether we are up to speed of what we are doing. To adjust elevation if possible, if peradventure you say, well, like now, like what he said the other time, like if you like now he said, yeah, he's taking his point now 150 point something, next 140 point something, next 150, but then you now see 200 point something, then after that one you see 150 point something. It will not help you to do that. It will not adjust that elevation for you to suit that terrain of the data, of that data that is there, because it might be a typographical error from the surveyor. It will help you to adjust that elevation if possible, if there's an error when you put in the data on your Excel folder. And when you call in the data into the Civil 2, it will help you to adjust the elevation if possible. So let's practice this step of importing points. And let's see whether we're up to speed of what we just did now. If you have the software, you can practice. Let's practice and see whether we're up to speed of what. If you have any challenges, you can chat me up on the chat forum there, so that I will know where the problem is. Then I will now demonstrate again. Let's practice for 10 minutes, and you can ask questions via the group chat room, so I'll know where you got stuck. So let me just go through the steps again verbally. The first step when importing your point based from the manual is to set those your default settings. Your text height, your point elevation height, your description height, and so on. Then the next step is to go to points here on your menu bar and select import/export point. Then go to import point and click on import point. Then after you're done with that, then the dialog box now pops up. That dialog box that has an import point. Then you click add the point. You click add the point, then you select it, then you specify the format that match with the format which is PNZ, comma delimited. Then after you're done with that, the next step you have to click add to point group and you give your point group a name. Then you click OK. Then you type Z enter, E enter to bring the points on display. Let's press for 10 minutes. If you have any question, you can ask me now. You can unmute yourself and ask the question. The sound is not coming out.
Minimize
The sound is not coming out. Just end again. Yeah.
even the start.
Hmm?
Yeah, continue.
Are we all on track?
Yes.
Are we all on track? If you're all on track, indicate by saying yes.
Just like it.
Type yes. Okay. Let's see.
So
Okay.
this is how the results will come the points.
Okay. So this is how you go about importing your point in Civil 3D. So the next phase we're entering into tonight is to create is creating our surface.
And if it's actually points,
The next phase to create our surface. You can see the next, that is on page 7, surface and contours. So to create our surface now from the manual, we'll go to, we are still on our prospect, on this our two space, on our prospectus tab, we'll click on surface. We'll select surface, then we'll right click and click create surface. Then the dialog, create surface dialog box pops up. You can see this, it's asking us to select a thin surface, a type. You can see it here now. This type is on thin surface already. So work on thin surface. Then the next step, we'll click OK. We'll click OK. Then the next step, we have to go back to our prospective our prospective toolbar, to our prospective tab, where we have our surface. You can see the surface created. The next step, we'll expand. There's a box sign created attached to the surface. We'll expand this box sign here. You can see the surface created now, surface 1. So we'll expand this our surface 1 again. Then the next step, we'll expand our definition. You can see the next step there is to expand our definition. Then the next thing, we have to go to our point group. You can see select the point group. You can see we'll look for a point group here. We'll select the point group. Then we'll right click on the point group and select add. and select add. You can see now you can see the point group showing here now. So the next step now, we'll select that our point group, that name we gave to our point group when importing our points. So which is this training? I gave mine training day 1 all point group. I'll select this now. Then I'll click apply and okay. So you see that to create the surface for me now. So now create the surface for me. So you saw what I did. The first thing I did in creating my surface was to go to my tool space on my prospective tab. I clicked on surface. I right click and choose create surface. I right click and choose create surface. Then the surface was now created. Then I came to my surface and I expanded the box sign attached to it. Then I expanded the surface one attached to it. Then I expanded my definition. Then I came to my point group. I right click and I choose and then I clicked add. Then I selected the point group which I named earlier on to create my surface. You should always have it in mind that in any road design you are doing, in any road design, be it in any road design you are doing, you always have one surface. You don't have multiple surfaces. You can have multiple alignment, but you only have one surface in any road design or any infrastructure work you are doing. You only have one surface for that. The surface entails the area the surveyor covered when carrying out his data. So that's you only have one surface. You can't have two surfaces in any road design you are doing. You have one surface in any of your road design you are doing. So that's why you're seeing we have surface one. So I can't create another surface again now. You only have surface one. If for eventually, say I'm doing an estate road now, which the surveyor would have gone inside the estate and get all the whole data, but I will have different road network, but I only have one surface for that particular work. So in any work you're doing, you only have one surface. So the next step now, you can see these are contours now. These are surface now. This surface, you can see the edges of the surface now is the TBMs, the temporary benchmark which the surveyor established. So the surface is now created around the temporary benchmark which the surveyor established. The area he covered. That's why the surface will now be created. So the next step now is these contours now we can actually make them more. We can actually increase them or reduce them if we choose to do that. To make the contours to be more, like we select the surface. Select the surface you just created. Once you select the surface, you can see that to give you see now let me press the escape key now. You can see this, my home tab. See the home tab, all the ribbons attached to the home tab. But once I select in Civil 3D, if you're working on any item, once you select it, it will give you an option attached to that item you're working on and what you use in editing what you want to work on. You can see now it has given me an option attached, everything attached. You can see now I'm having here surface properties. So I want to work on my surface properties now to make my contour to be more, to increase the spacing and the grid of my contour. So I'll come to this side here now. Okay. You know when we came to surface, okay. When we are done importing our points, the next phase you have to go to in any road design is to create your surface for the surface you are to work on. That surface now enters the area the surveyor covered. So within that surface now, if by peradventure you should draw your alignment outside that surface, that they on your vertical on your profile, your vertical profile, it will show 0, 0 data because the surveyor didn't capture that particular area. So your alignment has to be within the surface. So to create that surface now, just like I said earlier, to create the surface, let me undo this one and create it again so that you. Let me escape and undo and create again. Control Z for your undo. So to create a surface now, I will click on this my surface that is here. I will right click and say create surface. And if I say create surface, the create surface dialog box pops up. I will just click OK straight up. Then once I click OK, you can see now this is now showing me surface 2, showing that I have created a surface layer on. I've undo that one. So it's not showing me. So we do this. It does this in a way that if you undo something, it will count. It will take that one as the first one and count the other one as the second one. So as I see, it's showing me surface 2 now. So I will now expand the surface. I will now expand the definition, just like I stated on the manual. Then I will now go to my point group. You can delete and you can undo. Yes, you can delete and you can undo. You can delete and you can undo. It's the same thing as to undo. You just press Ctrl Z, normal command. Then you can still select it and right click and delete. Or press your delete key to delete the surface. You can do the same thing. Yes. You can press Ctrl Z, Ctrl and Z to undo. Or you can delete it. It's the same way. Yes. You can select the surface and delete it. So now I'll go to point group. I will now right click. I will say add. And I'll now select the point group name I gave to it because this is my point now. I've already grouped them into a group. So that is the name. I'll select the point group name, which is this one here now. I'll now click apply and OK. So the surface will now be created. So you can see the surface now created. So the next phase now is to our contour labels. You can actually label this your contours if you choose to label them. You can label it. You can actually increase this your contours spacing. Like if I select this, that's like I was explaining earlier on. If I select this my surface, you can see that it has taken me to a different. All these my layers that has changed now. It's taking me to properties assigned to the surface. So the next thing I'll go to my surface properties. I'll click on surface properties. So on my surface properties, I'll go to information. You can see the surface name here, showing me surface 2, the name, the one I created that on. Then I'll go to my default style. You can see surface style. If I want, you can see this is showing 2 meter and 10 meter background. I can actually make it to be 1 meter and 5 meter in background. Now leave this to be on my layer. And when I'm done, if I click apply and OK, you see the contours will be, you see them now, you'll see them now increasing because I've reduced the spacing. So I can actually still make this one at my own default. If I choose to make the contours a spacing less than that the software came with, I can actually make my own to be a default spacing. But meanwhile, the contours, we don't need them. We don't need the contours. We don't need the contours for our final position, for our final roadwork. What we are interested in is the boundary, the border, this border here. We're interested in the border of the surface. We don't need the contours. But let me just show you how to, on this manual, to create our contour labels. You can see this. If I select the contour now, the surface, then I'll go to annotate. You can see annotate here. Or I can escape and go to annotate. Then you can see we have select add labels. If I should select add label, you can see an add label dialog box pops up. So on this my add label dialog box, you can see that on my features, on this manual, say we should select surface. I will come down to this drop down arrow here. Mm. Yes, for a long stretcher road, yes, one surface will be created because any area the surveyor covered when carrying out his data, that's where the surface will be created. If a surveyor should cover from let's say from Abuja to Lagos, the surface will be created from Abuja to Lagos, one surface. If a surveyor should cover from Abuja to Lokoja, he's taking his data from Abuja to Lokoja, that to only have one surface because that's where he took his data, his reading. He took his reading from that place, from that Abuja to Lokoja. So you only have one surface. No matter how the road is stretched, you only have one surface for all your road design. You only have one surface. You don't have multiple surface. But you can have different alignments. Like now, if I'm doing an intersection road, a different road, you can know I'm having different alignment, different road network. But I only have one surface for all the whole network. So you can see on the feature, the next step there, you see select surface. So I'll come to this drop down arrow right here and click on surface. So once I click on surface, the next thing there on the manual is to go to my label type and select contour at multiple intervals. So I'll come to my label type. It's a drop down arrow here. I'll select contour at multiple interval. So you can see now it's showing, it's reflecting the way it's on a manual. So the next step now, then I'll select a cursor from one end of the alignment and drag across the alignment and drop it at the other end. I'll just click. I'll click add, then I'll just drag across this side like this and press enter key. I'll accept the interval to be at 100 and I'll press enter. You see now to give me the values, the contour values at that, the elevation values at that point there. You can see this one is showing 53 here and this is showing 53.0. At every interval to give you the values. If peradventure the values are not shown, you can still make this, you can still bring out the value out for these ones that are here. Now click add. I will drag across this and hit enter. You see that it will give me the elevation value at this point here now. 52 points. My elevation here, 53.0, 52 point something, to give me the values. If peradventure the values are not indicated there, I can still use this to get my elevation value. Then if I'm done, I'll just click close. I'll close it. I will not press my escape key and go back to my home tab. I'll go back to my home tab. So we cannot try and create the, let's try and create the contour if you have imported the point. Let's try and create our surface. Let's try and create the surface. Bye. Just follow what I just did now. I went to surface, I right click, create surface, then I clicked OK. Then the surface, then I came to my surface here, I expanded this my drop down box, then I expanded my surface. You might have surface 1 on yours or surface 2. I expanded, then I went to definition, I expanded this, then I went to point, I expanded, my target is to go to my point group. My target is to go to my point group. My target is to go to my point group. My target is to go to my point group. My point group and look and right click on it and choose and click on add. Then to bring out, then to show me the point group I've created. Then from there I'll select the point group and choose the actual point group I've created. Then I'll click OK. Then the surface now comes out. So let's try and create the surface. Let's say 5 minutes time. In 5 minutes time, let's try and create the surface. Let's try and create the surface in 5 minutes time. Let's try and create the surface. So the other ways, while creating the surface, I might still show you how you can import points in function of that point group. Why we need point, why Subotede indicates its own by calling it point group. You can actually call in, you can see this, our survey data now. On those of our description, you can see we have center, okay. On the description tab, while creating the surface, you can see we have center lines. Those are description icons. There are ways in Excel you can filter them and call each of the points individually into three. If you are done creating the surface, just indicate on the chart on the chart menu so that I'll put you through on how you can import. You can call in various points into on one road network you are doing. As far as there is a description attached to it. Okay, you need my phone number. You can call me. My phone number 0. This is my phone number. So indicate if you are done with if you are done in creating the surface. So let me know when you are done in creating the surface, or if you have any challenge, indicate on the group chat so that I'll guide you through. Okay, you are done. Okay. Consider you now made this done. Okay. Okay. Let's wait for that. See if others are done. No, the session is not over. It's not over. We have to take it up to an alignment, today. Let's just rush and do alignments. Okay. So the next step now is for us to create our alignment now. You can see on the manual, the next step there is an alignment. Alignment. An alignment for us to create our horizontal alignment. Well, I don't want to rush and show you guys a trick you can use in importing your data again. Let me just quickly go over to my Excel folder and show you something. Let me open this my JeffCon all Excel folder. This is not on the manual, but I just want to show you so you can be covered when importing your points. You can see this my JeffCon all. Like I said, this is my point number. These are my easting, northing, elevation, and description. There are ways I can actually filter this point and call for this description. I can decide to call in for only my center line of my road, my electric pole data, my fence data, and so on. So to do that now, I want to call out, I want to import only the CL data. I will Control A to select the whole data. Then when I Control A, then I'll go to an icon, a command in Excel called sort and filter. So when I click on this sort and filter, I'll click on filter. So when I click on filter, you can see that it has brought out for me a drop-down arrow attached on the first row. So I will go to the last to my description aspect of it. On the contours, we don't actually need the contours for any major work. You see, I will still take the contours out now. When I want to draw my alignment, I will show you that one. Let me just quickly rush and show you how you can import. You can call in various description icons. So I will come to this my drop down arrow on the description tab. If it has a description, I'll select it. I'll click on select all. Then I'll go and select. Let's say I want to import my center line of the road alone, center line data of the road. I'll click on CL. I'll select the whole CL. I'll select the whole CL data. Then I'll click OK. You can see that it has now filtered the whole it has now brought the whole CL data for me now. So I will now copy this one now. I'll say Control C. Copy it. Then I'll say Control N. Then I'll paste this data now in the new Excel folder, Control V. So I will now go and save this, just like what we did earlier on. I will now go and save this one now. I'll say Save As. I will save it on my desktop. Then I'll save as type CXV, delimited. The same thing. Then I'll give it a name now. Training day 1. If it's a road project, training day 1 center line data. Then I'll click save. I'll say yes. Then I will now close this now. Don't save. I'll now close the folder. I'll come to this side again and close this one again now. Then I will now go back to my civil 3D now. I will now import that same point on this platform now. I will now go to points. I will go to import points, the same thing we did earlier on. Then I will now go and look for that my center line data. I want to import the center line data. I'll click on it. I'll click open. It's open somewhere. There's something wrong. Is it in somewhere? So I will now go and import that my center line data. Let me rush and do it so that you see it what I did again. I will say Control A. I will say Control A. I'll go to sort and filter. I'll click on filter. I'll come to this point. Then I will unselect all and select only the center line. I'll select the center line alone. And I'll click OK. It will now filter the data for me. Then I'll now Control C. I'll copy it. I'll Control A in a new Excel page. Then I'll Control V and paste it on a new Excel folder. Then I'll go and save it. I'll save it now. Go to File. I'll click Save As. I'll browse. I'll click on my Excel work and save in CSV comma delimited. And I'll click, let me say, center line data. Then I'll click Save. Yes. Then I'll come to this point now and click Don't Save. Save. Yes. Now click this, Don't Save. Then I'll go back. I will go and import the points now. I will go, this is the point here. This is my center line data here. I will click Open. You can see the center line data now that's come up. Then I'll click the format I use in saving it. NZ. You can see it now. Then I'll add this, I have to add to point group again now. I'll add to point group and give it a point group then now. If it's a project I'm working on, say I'm working on a project, like say I'm designing Abuja to Kaduna Road. Now say Abuja to Kaduna, Abuja to Kaduna, Abuja Kaduna center line data. I will just give it a name like that. I will just say center, let me just name it center line data point group. So I will now click OK. And I'll click OK. You can see now it starts showing the command that a duplicate point has been detected. Please select the option below to resolve the conflict, showing that the point already exists here. So I will just click OK. So once I click OK, the point now is not visible now. So the next thing, just like in AutoCAD, if you're using AutoCAD for properties, we call layer properties. You can actually switch a layer and off a layer in AutoCAD. You can make a layer active and make a layer inactive. So now the next thing I will do, I will just go to this my point group now. That is on this plus sign here now. You can see I have trained the whole data and the center line data and the center line data point group. So I want to make the center line data point group active now. What will I do? I will come to this my training data here now. I will right click. I will go to properties. You can see the point star attached to it is basic. Then the point label star attached to this one is to show on the screen is a point elevation and description. You can see on the screen now. You can see on the screen, it's showing my point label, my elevation, and my description on the screen here now. The center line, my description shown on the screen. That is for the points, for the point label star. It's showing I'm asking it to show, to make this visible, my points, my elevation, my description, and to make my point star basic. So the next thing I'll do now, I just want to see only the center line data on my screen. I will come to this my basic now. I will change here to none, no display. I will come to this side and change here to none. Then I'll click apply and okay. So you see now it will now show me the center line of my road. It will enable me now to draw my alignment perfectly well without giving me a hinge. This is how you're able to fit that. You call in, like if you have electric poles now, you can be able to call in electric pole and it will to show you the points where the electric poles are located on that survey data. You will filter them individually and call it. You can call multiple points. If you have electric pole, if you have stream data, if you have covered, where covered points are, you can call them and where the surveyor say they are covered points there, you can call them to show you to give the location. You use them, and when you are done with the design, then you now use like a legend to describe the icon. So the next thing now, I can still make this one visible now. I'll come back to these properties. I'll go to this point style now and change it and return it back to how it was before, to basic. Then I'll make this one point elevation and description. I'll click apply and okay. You see the whole data point now comes out. These are you can filter various survey data and call them into Civil 3D. You can call various survey data, various description points into Civil 3D. You can call them, you can switch them on and off. When you are done working with it, you can switch them on, off, on, off, on, off. But mind you, if you are importing your data, your surface, if you want creating your surface, you have to assign your surface to the first point of reference you have to import is the whole data. So you have to assign your surface to the whole survey data, not the data you filtered. You have to assign your surface to the whole data. So when adding to your point group, you have to ensure that the whole data is the one that is selected, so you add it to the whole point group. So from here now, the next thing I'll do now, these my contours now. I can decide to take them off. I don't need them again. I'll take them off now. I don't need the contours again. I'll select this my surface now. Then when I select my surface, I'll go to surface properties. You can see anytime I select point, I go to point properties. If I select surface, I go to surface properties, because there are properties attached to that element, to that the properties are attached to the point and surface. So I have to go to properties and edit them. So I'll select this now and go to surface and go to surface properties. So my surface properties now, go to my surface style. You can see my surface style is showing 1 meter and 5 meter background. As every 1 meter, as every 5 meter, we'll have a 1 meter interval, contours interval. So I don't want the contours to display. I don't need the contours. I will click on this my drop down arrow here and click on border only. I want the border to display only. Then I'll click on apply and okay. So to now give me the border. So So my reference of my point of my where I'll be working now will be within this border. If by parameter I should draw my alignment goes, that's like I said, goes outside the border. On my vertical alignment, on my profile, which we call vertical alignment, the values there will just give me 0, 0, 0, 0, showing that the surveyor didn't cover that area when he was carrying out his detailed survey. So at this point now, the next step now is for me to draw my alignment. And in drawing my alignment now, you can see how this data is a bit clumsy now. That's why I filter to get that center line, so that I can be able to use the center line to get a perfect alignment of the road. If I should use this one now and go like this, I can draw, but so I can now come to this point now and right click and go to properties and switch and change this one to none. Change this to none, and I'll click apply and okay. So now I can now use this my center line of my road to get my alignment perfectly well. But if peradventure the surveyor didn't indicate, let's say it's a virgin land now, let's say it's a virgin land and the surveyor didn't forgot to indicate the center line, you can also use, if he picks the data horizontally at 5 meter interval, let's say it picks at 15 meter, the width of his when it covers. So you can now snap to that the midpoint of that data, 7.5 meter. From there now you can now use them and start drawing your alignments. Let me indicate that. Let's say this now. Properties. Basic. Description. Click apply. Okay. Let's say a surveyor didn't indicate the description for me here and everything. So I can now come now measure this distance. Now let's say I will know the length from here to that length he covered when carrying this data now. So for me now, I can now come to this, see this point here, I can come to this point here now. I'll right click here. I'll click here and go to object snap setting. and say select all. To select all the objects now. If yours is not selected, you can just make them active, select them all, and you click OK. So I will now come at, I will measure this distance from here to here. I will also say distance, DI. I will measure from here to here. From here to here, you can see 90 point something. So if I divide this by 2, I'm going to determine my midpoint and draw from there in case the description is not indicated. So let's just continue. So now the next step now, in alignment, you say we should select line or polyline and draw it through the surface on the manual. So the next, I will also go to this point now. You can see I have my line to here, and I have my polyline here, and I have my polyline. I have my line too. So I will just click on line. So when I click on my line, the next step now you can see my center points. I'll now go and locate the center point, which is the reference. Now I'll now draw. I'm on the road alignment now. I'm trying to get my horizontal alignment now. I will now draw. You can see this. If I draw like this now, I come now and say, I'm drawing the alignment. I click here now. I click here now. I'm tracing like this. I click here. I click here. What am I doing now? I'm inputting multiple curves. I'm inputting multiple curves. At every point you click and drop, the software will see that point as a point of reference. It will place a curve for you at that point. And meanwhile, in road design, when can I road design, you should try as much as possible to avoid short curves when doing your road design. Make sure your curves are at a longer distance. But if it's a terrain that warrants you to put a curve there, you have to put it. But you ensure that your curves are at a longer distance, regardless of how your alignment is passing through the points. And when doing your alignment, don't always ensure that your line will touch the point. There's a when we're in secondary school, there's what they taught us, the line of best fit. You can just draw through and have one line here and one line on that point, and let the line just cross. At least let 2 points. Let 2 points of reference from as your center line. Let 2 points just cross. It's okay. So now, I will now come to this point now. I will draw the line now. I will take it now. Then I'll watch. Let me use that one I fit out so that you see it perfectly well. So let me switch this one off now and use the line I fit out, that center line. So you see now, see the way my point is. Meanwhile, you have to check from where your road starts from. From the data, you can see my elevation here is at 2. My point number here is at 250. If I should come down to this side now, you see my point number is at 66. So my road is going from right to left. So I will come now, pick the line. Then I will draw. You can see why if you fit out, see how it makes your work easier. I will draw and follow that center line. Always ensure that if a surveyor goes to pick that up, always ensure, ask him to always indicate the center line of the road for you so that you make your work easier when drawing your horizontal alignments. Always ensure that he indicates the center line of the road for you to make your work easier when drawing your horizontal alignments. So now you can see now, as I'm going now, you can see this my point now is going out of my center line data. So I will now come to this point now. See where it's going out. I can now come and click here. I'll drop this somewhere here. I will escape. Then I'll go back to line again. I will start my point from here again now. And take it and watch. You can see I'm going at the longer distance. I don't and take it and see I'm there touching. I can drop it here and avoid that one. I can always draw picture like this now. So the next step now, as I've gotten this alignment like this, the next step now, I will now extend this to hit this one. Normal extend in AutoCAD. I will say extend. Now right click, and I'll click hit. I will extend it. If I'm done and I now escape, then I'll not trim that one off. Trim. I'll right click. I'll trim this off. I might delete this. You can see these ones now. You can see these ones they touched, but these ones you can see the point. As if you could, but the point of reference is just to get 2 points. Is okay for you, and make sure your road is at a longer distance before you start putting curves. Don't put curves at shorter distance. So the next step, as I've drawn this now, the next steps I've drawn this. The next step now, you know, in AutoCAD, there's a difference between a line and a polyline. In AutoCAD, if I'm to use a line now, and I click like this, like this, like this, in the line is seeing them as different entity. You see them as different entity. But if it's a polyline now, I choose on a polyline, I click. Wow. If I select this now, I see them as one entity. So the next step now, the next thing I will do now is to carry my polyline now and trace on this line I just drew now to make the line to be one entity. So once I'm done with this now, the next step, you can see on the manual here, the next I say, I will go to my menu. This is my menu bar that is here now. Click on alignment and click on create alignment from polyline, which is this one here now. Then I'll select the polyline. It's asking me to select lines if possible. I have only one. I'll select the line again. If I choose select it, then I'll press enter key. I press enter. You can see it's giving me a direction where my road is going. If peradventure my road is starting from the left to the right, I will now click on reverse so that my chainage numbering will start from here to the other side. But if is this side my road is going now, I'll now press enter to accept the direction. I'll press enter to accept the direction. Then you now bring out this dialog box for us here now. This dialog box here on page 11. So on the dialog box now, the next step we have to do now, we can now give alignment a name. If we choose to give it a name, say road 1, road 2, alignment 1, alignment 2. You can try to give it a name. So the next step now, we'll go to alignment style. When it's our alignment style, we'll change it from proposed to basic. Then if we are done with that, then we'll go to our alignment label set. We'll change it from no label to major, minor geometry points. Major, minor, and geometry points. Then if you are done with this now, then the next step, you see this, there's a drop-down arrow attached to this pencil, and we'll click on it and click on edit current, copy current selection. So when we click on copy current selection, we have to go to, you can see the first thing there is label, is information. The next tab there is label. So we'll click on label. We click on label tab. So on this label tab, it will now take us to where we have our labels. We have our major stations, our minor stations, and our geometry points. So the next thing we edit here, this our parallel with tick. We want our changes to be perpendicular, our major stations to be perpendicular with the tick. So I'll come to this side here now. This small box that is here. I'll click on it and go to perpendicular with tick. Then I'll click OK. Then our major stations, or what our increment to be at 100-meter interval. So I'll select it to be 100. Then the minor stations, we want it to be at 25-meter interval. I will make it 25. Then we leave this one at the default. Then if you are done, we just click apply and OK. Then the next step, we have to ensure that this is checked. Add curves between tangents. Then you have to input your default radius. So this is default, just like I explained earlier on, the minimum curve radius. The minimum curve radius on the federal highway manual is 300 meters. That's what the minimum you can go, 200 meters. But on the federal highway manual, there are ways you can get your curve. If you go through the manual, you see that one in details. If you choose your design speed and your K value and everything, you are able to assume the curve for the road you want to design. So I'll now input here the minimum, just like it stated on the manual. Let's input 300. So I will now click OK. You see now to convert that line to an alignment for me now. It has converted that line to an alignment. Show me my start station, my beginning point 00. The major ones at 100-meter interval, the minor ones are at 25 meters interval. 25, 200, change. Then you see my curve now. Show me my point of curve. The point my curve starts and with the point where the tangent begins. The curve starts from here and curve and go to this point where the tangent starts and go to this, then go to end of point. So this is how you create your alignment. This is the way you create your alignment. This is basically how you create your alignment. So if you are done with creating the alignment now, the next step is asking us to freeze this point. We don't need this point to, these are our Google point, our survey points to appear on our screen again. So to freeze the point, just like what we did earlier on, you can just select the point, or you go through your point group here, expand this, and this is the center line that is active. I can also right click and go to properties and take them and make them change from basic to none, change this to none, and I'll click apply and okay. So the point now goes off. So I've now gotten my horizontal alignment, the area view of my road. If I'm viewing it from the top, this is how my horizontal alignment will look like. This is how my horizontal alignment will look like. And then the next step now, if you're done with this now, next step, if you're done with this now, you can actually now create your alignment offset using those federal highway manual parameters by just your normal offset in AutoCAD offset. Let's say my carriage width is 3.65, enter. I can now create this offset. If I'm having a shoulder on the road, based on the manual, I say 2.75, 2.75, enter. Then I'll do this one again too. 2.75, enter. So if I'm having a drain, let's say I'm having a 1 meter drain, 1 meter, enter. And I'm having this one too, 1 meter, enter. Then my right of way, based on the federal highway manual, the minimum distance for the minimum length you can go for right of way is 30 meters. So I can actually offset this one now. I will say offset. I will escape the command, say offset 30 meters from the center line of the road. 30 meters. And I'll go like this, 30, 30. So once I'm done with this, the next step now, you can see these that are all on one layer. I can actually change the colors of this, my lines now. So to change the color now, I'll select this, I'll right click, and I'll go to properties. Then by layer, I will give this one a red color, showing my carriageway width. I'll not escape. Then I'll go to this side. I'll right click, I'll click, I'll right click, I'll go to properties. Then I'll change this to maybe a blue layer. Then I'll select this and select this. And I'll right click and I'll go to properties. And I'll make this one a broken line. If you have seen a typical road design before, I will make my right of way with a broken line. You can see it's still not visible, and I'll increase the line type scale to, let's say, 20. You can see it's coming out now. I'll say 30. Escape. Then when I escape, so I don't know whether, so you just try and practice for 5 minutes. Then we close. Let's see where I can get to this point. Try and practice for 5 minutes and let's get to this point. So, gentlemen, ladies, some of us have already left. Let's just practice this, what we've done for today. Tomorrow, we are starting exactly by 3. And please, I want to beg us to print the manual. I will send email to everyone. Please print the manual if possible, so that we can do, when we start tomorrow, we'll just revise what we did today
and then we'll move on. Okay. Call your number for me. Okay. So I don't know if there's any question. Okay, somebody's chatting. If there's no question, we'll continue tomorrow. Of course, we're not going to waste time on any basics. We're going to start on time. Okay. I think I have sent the design manual to everyone. Okay, I will send it again. Is there anyone that would like to share his screen, what he has done with us? Is there anyone that would like to share up to surfacing or alignment? One good thing about alignment is that you can decide to draw the straightest line as much as possible. Your line has to be as, you have to minimize curve on your road. You just don't drop and drop, drop and drop. No, you have to allow it to be very as lengthy as possible. So I don't know if there's anyone that that wants to share the screen with us. I will give you permission. Let me just see what you have done so that we can have an impression. I know that yes, somebody got it. Okay. I'll drive you out. You're even busy. So I think we have to end here for today, for the sake of some of us who have to go home, and some of us are still in the office. So if you don't have any other question, I want to thank you for today. Please feel free at any time to call Engineer Victor and ask questions. You can send me emails. If you didn't get the manual, write me emails. I will send everything to you. And I've been able to put everything inside in a Google Drive. You can access all the information you need there. On this note, I want to thank everyone for coming. I really appreciate every one of us. You can unmute if you want to say something. You are free. The class have technically come to an end. Apologies if you missed something, if you got lost somewhere. I promise you by tomorrow, we're going to make it up with you. All we're doing is to show you the basics. And I believe by the time we are finished, you can be proud to say, yes, it's been worth it. So if there's no other question in the next 1 minute, I will say thank you. God bless you for coming. And I will respectfully end the meeting. Once again, I'll go to my chat box. Nobody have said anything. I have seen thank you. Thank you so also. Fina is saying thank you. I appreciate an apology if you got lost somewhere. Once again, gentlemen, At this point, I would like to say a final thank you to every one of us. Thank you for coming. Thank you for attending. Tomorrow we'll review in 30 minutes. We'll just review and then continue from where we stopped. We'll just review what we have done. Okay. And maybe we can also, okay, we'll have a chat box here. So we'll also use our chat box in chatting what you are doing. But please, if you have the wherewithal, if you have the flexibility, print the manual and have it handy. It's so important so that you can easily follow in what you are doing. It's going to be so beneficial to every one of us. So on that note, I want to say thank you. God bless you, and please reach us at any time. Thank you, and thank you again.